Conflicting national interests, diplomatic dilemmas and alliance pressures continue to mount for South Korea, as highlighted by the question of whether to agree to the US request to send troops to the Strait of Hormuz. But how should Seoul respond? I'm Alex Jensen for North Korea Now. A quick bit of background. American Secretary of Defense Mark Esper is understood to have asked Seoul to deploy forces to patrol the Strait of Hormuz, which has become particularly tense because of US President Donald Trump's decision to pull out of that Iranian nuclear deal last year and to impose sanctions on Iran. Russia's involvement has intensified Washington's efforts to build a coalition of allied troops in the area. And let's be clear, South Korea does have an interest in doing so beyond the US alliance. Nearly 70% of this country's oil imports travel along this marine route, so that is a significant economic factor. South Korea may well, according to sources, dispatch its anti-piracy Cheonghae unit from off Somalia. Yet, defending freedom of navigation comes at a cost. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman Syed Abbas Musawi recently urged South Korea to remain neutral, saying Korea's possible joining of the coalition is not a good signal for us. And critics might well point out it was Trump who unilaterally broke that aforementioned nuclear deal, and his lack of concern for global agreements, even at great risk, could easily backfire on allies. We recall his unilateral decision to announce the end of joint military exercises last year, an issue now causing so much difficulty with North Korea. And his pressure on Seoul to pay more for America's military presence in the South, tweeting lately that South Korea is a very wealthy nation that now feels an obligation to contribute to the military defense provided by the United States of America. Meanwhile, the US is trying to persuade Seoul to maintain its military intelligence sharing agreement with Japan, whose ongoing trade offensive is going down particularly badly with ordinary South Koreans, who also remember the controversy and hostage crisis when South Korea joined the military coalition in Iraq more than a decade ago. So, with all these conflicting factors, what people don't want to feel is that they're going outside national interests to please the US. Other American allies like Germany and Japan have resisted US pressure on the Strait of Hormuz. But thinking big, aside from the peculiarities of Trump's foreign policy, it does make sense to maintain the strength of the American alliance, as the UK and Israel are doing, especially as the North Korea situation demands close-knit ties.